Welcome to the best part of your week. This is Inspired Sports, your place for clean sports talk with real inspiration. I'm Alex Pratt alongside the Scott Jakeway.
Alex, what is going on? First and foremost,
It's Monday night.
It's Monday night, but first and foremost, I have to get a shout out real fast, just super fast.
Whoa. Instant shout out?
Instant shout out. My
right.
Aces came strong on Saturday to end the season, and I just want to give every one of them that are watchers and listeners, Aces, I'm very proud of you. You guys came correct on Saturday, finished the season strong. So that's the way I wanted to start this episode, because as a coach, I love getting to do what I do, and I'm very proud of them. So there it is. Shout out to my Aces.
Go Aces.
Yes, sir.
Ending the season with a W. Great job. It's also my team's. That's your team. My team is a professional team, and they also won tonight on Monday night.
Yes,
so
they did.
they got the W. Sorry to surprise anyone, but the outcome looked exactly as expected. The Kansas City Chiefs dominated the Washington Commanders by a score of 35-7. So, Scotty Jakeway, let me ask you, did the Kansas City Chiefs just even break a sweat?
I mean, in the first half they did. First half looked.
First half they were sweating.
Yeah, the first half I was like, I pulled up the game. I was like, oh, it's 7-7. Is this gonna really end up being one of those games that shocks us? And I was getting all kind of excited for the podcast, like, oh boy, here we go. And then they went into the locker room, dried off, and I don't think they broke a sweat at all in the second half. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah, the beginning had me worried. As a Chiefs fan, I was like, what is going on? Because the first two drives the Kansas City Chiefs had ended with Patrick Mahomes' interceptions, which, fun fact, had never happened before in his career. He's never started the first two offensive drives for a Kansas City Chiefs game with two interceptions. So I was sweating a little bit, but you could see, like, okay, they were a bit fluky. We had tips. We had a diving interception, which was a great play by Marshawn Lattimore. But I was like, okay, I think they're going to pull it together. And obviously they did. After a slow start in the first half, they put together a dominant second half, including the defense, which went ahead and had a shutout in the third and fourth quarter, gave up 0 points in the second half. And Travis Kelce became the all-time position player touchdown leader for the Kansas City Chiefs. He is now tied technically with Priest Holmes, and he will shortly be breaking that record. So shout out to Travis Kelce. There's a lot of good things going on in his life.
Yeah, he got the wedding invitations out this week, and he's like, hey, why not go out and score a touchdown?
Yeah, I got time for that. I made a little time this week.
I got some of the checks off my list done, so let's do it, and let's go out there and score a touchdown.
So to all of our listeners who are waiting for me to go on the full Chiefs dominance rant, I don't think you can do that after beating a team that didn't have their starting quarterback. Jaden Daniels is obviously out. Marcus Mariota gave it his best efforts. Truly, for the first half, really made us wonder what was going on. But I'm not going to rant about Chiefs dominance after beating a team that actually didn't even have their starting kicker.
Yeah,
by the way. So this was not, we've been on a hot streak of Monday night and Thursday night great games. This just wasn't it.
It wasn't, and it was just a cap to the whole week. It seemed like it was a theme all week long.
It's funny you mentioned that, Scotty Jakeway, because I have another question for you, which is, did that just happen? Did any of the blowouts this weekend just teach us something new?
Oh, okay. Well, I think there's sometimes, even when you have kind of a dull week like this, there's still lessons that have got to be learned. I mean, for instance, the Jets being the only exciting game. Shout out on your first W. I mean, we just talked about the Jets management. Don't be that guy.
That's right.
Razzing their starting quarterback that they signed for $40 million. And Justin Fields is like,
can you just complete a pass? And he goes out. He's like, yeah, I got a few of them. I got a few of them, actually.
Yeah. And pulls off a great W. I mean, granted, Bengals, Jets may not be a great matchup, but this is what I'm thinking. I want to pull a little stat out for you, because we started to talk about this whole week, and we realized 12 of the 13 games were won by double digits, and it got me thinking. I started wondering when has that happened? I mean, is this a first? Is this something we need to talk about? So I looked it up. It actually did happen, but the last time all but one game ended in double-digit wins, 1970. So we're
Wow.
talking 55 years? I mean, that's a long time. That's not a Sports Center stat
Listen,
like, "Oh, ever
listen,
since
there
2024, we're." I mean, that's a significant amount of time, so
Yes, it is, and despite, the gray that, they might see on either side of the screen right now, we were not around the last
no.
time it happened. We
No.
just like to clarify, we did not witness it the last so
Yep.
it's the first time it's ever happened in our lives.
In our lives. And I decided to do a little math, because it just felt like a lot of these games were just blowouts. The average win, 18 over 18 points per win, like, or per game.
Wow.
That's a huge margin across an entire week.
It was
So
beat down weekend.
a beat down weekend. So, but I mean, I would love to hear what you have to say. Was there any
So
lessons learned from your standpoint
so
for this kind of week?
you mentioned 12 out of 13 games were won by double digits, but I like you said that it was actually not just a bunch of like 10-point wins. Like
Right.
10 out of 13 were won by 2 touchdowns or more, which has to do with exactly what you're saying about the point spread, the spread being 18 points, the win margin. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think there was one very key thing that we should take away from these blowouts, and that is the Ravens aren't done yet. And I'm going to be honest, as a Chiefs fan, even though we've had no trouble with Lamar, we've played really well against Lamar. I really would love to just see Lamar take the year off. You know what I mean? But we just breaking news, semi-breaking news, came out tonight after Monday Night Football, which is that Lamar is set to start on Thursday against the Dolphins. So let me share a little bit of this for you because the Baltimore Ravens beat the Chicago Bears by a score of 30-16 this weekend. Right? So there's your double digit win. There's your 2
Yeah.
touchdown win. Now, I would like to share with you something, Scotty Jakeway. I want to read you 2 stat lines. These are the stat lines from the 2 starting quarterbacks in that game. One quarterback
Okay.
was 17 of 22 for 186 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, and a 116 passer rating. That's a pretty good day.
Pretty good.
The other quarterback was 25 of 38 for 285 yards, no touchdowns, an interception, and a passer rating of 77. One of those quarterbacks is Caleb Williams, Scotty Jakeway, but which one?
Oh, I may not if it was anyone other than Caleb Williams, I might not know this. However, being the Caleb hater that I am, it's all about it's doing a lot and doing nothing with it. It's the good old Caleb Williams throwing 285 yards, but also throwing a pick and having a passer rating. You said QB rating, right?
77 passer rating.
Passer rating. Sorry, 77. Atrocious.
Brutal. Yes.
Brutal. Caleb Williams again proves straight trash. And
He got outplayed by a backup. That's what I haven't said yet. The other quarterback was Tyler Huntley, the backup for the Ravens. He got outplayed by a backup.
It's exactly. I've gotten a lot of fan mail and text messages saying, "Come on, Scott, just slow down or calm down on the Caleb Williams hate." And I'm here to say we are going into week 9 and he is still I'm sorry, week 8, right? Week 8 going
Yeah,
into
no. Yeah, we're going into week 8.
week 8. I need to adjust my heat,
Well,
level.
this was week 8. We're headed into
Yeah.
week 9, yes.
Okay, so I was right. We were heading into week 9, and Caleb Williams is still who we thought he was. I mean, to quote the good old Dennis Green, he's exactly who we thought
They are
he
who
was.
we thought they were.
And guess who he said that about? The Bears. And Caleb Williams is who I thought he was. Still,
for the life of me, I never
trash.
knew who he was talking about. I didn't know who he was talking about. I have to go back to the Denny Green part. Thank you for pulling that out. All of my life, my football life, I have quoted they are who we thought they were, but I never actually knew
The Bears.
who Denny Green was talking about. It was the Bears.
Yes.
Well said, Scotty Jakeway. The Ravens somehow pull out a victory that wasn't by the skin of their teeth, by 2 touchdowns. And the Ravens are now 2-5. They were 1-5 with one of the worst defenses in the league by
Yep.
any metric you want to use. And somehow Caleb Williams and the Bears could only put up 16 points.
It,
And that there's a problem in Chicago. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm more focused on what's happening in Baltimore. Because if Lamar is back on Thursday and they're 2-5, you're like 2-5, man, that's hard to come back from. It is hard to make the playoffs when you start 2-5. But let me read to you the next 5 games that the Ravens have. The Dolphins, who on a week-to-week basis, you have no idea what you're getting from them. Yes,
yep.
big, huge explosion of offense this week, but they've looked absolutely atrocious for weeks themselves. One of
Yep.
the worst 3 or 4 teams in the league. You've got the Vikings, who will be starting J.J. McCarthy because, as we found out today, Carson Wentz is out for the year with a shoulder injury, and J.J. has not looked good yet. Maybe he can pull it together, but that's only 2 weeks away. Then you've got the Browns, also known as the dumpster fire of the NFL. You've got the Jets, and I'm sorry, all the good feelings right now they're going on in the Jets building because they finally got their first win. They are still
Yep.
a 1-7 team. And then they have the Bengals. And by then, Joe Flacco will be asleep. He won't be able to stay awake anymore. He'll be taking a nap during game time. So, seriously, there's a real possibility that the Ravens, with Lamar and a defense that is rebounding. You know, the Chicago Bears offense looked pretty good last week, and then they came into this game, and the Ravens shut down their run game and tried to force Caleb to beat them through the air, and he couldn't do it. So the Ravens are kind of getting a little bit of that offense or that defensive swagger back. They could rip off 5 in a row, man. I think there's a real chance the Ravens could be 7-5 5 weeks from now.
If we rewind the tapes, 3 weeks ago, we were talking about this, and I said when he went down with with his injury, I specifically said they're 1-3, but they're going to lose the next couple games. That's okay. It's to be expected. We know that's going to happen. They're going to be 1-5. I said it back then. I said they're going to be 1-5. They're going to have the bye week. I was hoping he'd come back against the Bears because that would have been a lot of
Right.
fun, but they still won. And we talked about the reason we said that exact same thing 3 weeks ago, that they could end this streak 7-5. And there's nothing that makes me believe anything different after seeing them play the Bears and then listing off those 5 teams. There is nothing in my soul that makes me believe that there's any reason that any of those teams are going to beat the Lamar-driven Ravens. And yes, they're going to be
Even if
7 and
they go
5.
4-1, let's give them one random loss. Let's
Yeah.
give them one bad defensive performance and one random loss.
Yeah.
That is still an incredible recovery sitting at 6-6. You can get back to 500
Yep.
at 6-6 and then think, what can we do from here? Can we put together, 4 more wins?
A little
I
scary.
think the Ravens are not done yet. I would
Nope.
not count them out. It has been a weird NFL season not talking about Lamar for 3 weeks,
Agreed.
not talking about Joe Burrow since week 2. And these guys are trying to get back, and it'll certainly keep things exciting.
Exactly.
Another exciting thing that happened this weekend was Sunday Night Football, the game that we refused to let Aaron Rodgers say was not a revenge game.
Exactly.
Okay, Aaron? Even if it wasn't a revenge game for you, Aaron, it was for the Packers, okay?
Yep.
So, based on that fact, Scotty Jakeway, I have a question for you. Did that just happen? Did the Packers just win the battle and the war at the same time? Because the Packers beat the Steelers on Sunday Night Football,
Mhm.
and Jordan Love sure looked better than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, so this is my thought. Aaron Rodgers may not have looked at it as a revenge game, but I feel like the Packers had this one down as a revenge game from their standpoint because there's no way any respectable team is going to allow their geriatric former quarterback come in and beat them with the guy that took his place. So I
Hold
feel
on.
like
I can't let you get away with that. How old is Aaron Rodgers?
He's 40, but in
How
football,
old is Scotty Jakeway? And how old is Alex Pratt? We're
it's
real dangerously close to geriatric by your math, my friend.
Listen, it's like dog years, okay? In football land, 40, you might as well be 80. So, I mean, it's a lot different than just out here in the general public. Point being, I think the Packers knew if they let Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers win, they would never hear the end of it. And so for them, this was in sorts a revenge game. So yes, I think they won the battle because they very convincingly won, although it was only by 10 points. But then they also won the war because they've got their next quarterback, which they seem to be an organization that just strings together quarterbacks. Like they know how to put them together, and they won the trade. I mean, I think they have a lot of things going for them that makes me believe battle and war, Packers.
Listen, we don't have to disagree on this one at all. I don't know
Yeah.
anyone who could disagree on this one, but I'd like to present a few other thoughts that maybe
Okay.
you haven't considered. And the first one is that this trade didn't just happen. This isn't the Micah
True.
Parsons trade. This happened 3 years ago. They
True.
watched Aaron
True.
Rodgers in misery in New York with the
Mhm.
Jets, first getting injured and then being mediocre and being on what was a bad team and a poorly coached
Yeah.
team and a team that didn't make the playoffs for 2 years. And now, honestly, he's playing pretty well with the Steelers, a team that we thought was going to be strong defensively, and yet somehow the Dallas Cowboys have the worst defense in the league, ranked dead last, but the worst specifically pass defense in the NFL, the worst pass defense is actually the Steelers. And the
Uh,
Steelers defense has more of the Steelers salary cap is spent on defense than any other team in the league. A
Wild.
higher percentage of their team salary cap. And they are dead last in passing as a defense. And so you're looking at it and going, actually, that we thought that Aaron was going to come in and the defense was kind of going to carry it and he was going to be okay. But so far, Aaron has carried it. So I need to give Aaron Rodgers credit. He's had a good season. But in this game, Scotty Jakeway, Jordan Love outperformed him in every single QB stat. I looked it up: yards, touchdowns, turnovers, passer rating, all of it. It was all Jordan Love clearly had outplayed Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And so I just think that they did win the battle. They won the war. They timed that trade perfectly at the peak of his value, like without giving up any of what he could have done for your team as far as winning. They sent Aaron Rodgers packing at just the right time. See what I did there? I actually did that on accident. But I wanted to take 1 second to talk about this. I want to give you 3 names:
Okay.
Brett Favre,
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers,
Mhm.
Jordan Love. That's
Mhm.
obvious. I know you know that. Can you believe that string of quarterbacks started in 1992? Since
Wow.
1992, the Green Bay Packers have had 3 franchise quarterbacks back to back to back:
That's
Brett
crazy.
Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. And so
Yeah.
that's 23 years. Am I
Yeah.
doing that math right? No, that's 33
30
years. Wow,
33
helps
years.
helps if you can add by 10. 33 years of quarterback awesomeness. 7 MVPs. They got 7 MVPs out of those guys. They got 2 Super Bowl wins, and they are perennially a playoff contender.
Yeah. And I would say at this point, barring any injury, or any crazy scenario, Jordan Love has at least 7 more years in him, like good quality, quarterback years, which means they will have strung together 40 years
I don't
of.
think we've seen his ceiling either.
No, I don't think so either. I think they very potentially could be adding Super Bowls, MVPs, all of those awards that, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers brought to Green Bay. I think he absolutely could do the same, and because they've pieced together draft picks and free agents around him, trades. I mean, they've done everything an organization should do when you draft your next, organizational, like, highlight all-star quarterback. Like, we're building the franchise around him. That's literally what they've done. And unfortunately, too many teams, they draft the all-star quarterback, but they don't put the pieces around them. And then you see guys have to go find another team, where Green Bay, they don't lose their all-star quarterback. They draft him, they
Well,
train him, and
and people forget how much heat they took for drafting Jordan Love.
yeah, they did. They did.
They actually traded up to draft Jordan Love
Yep.
when Aaron Rodgers was coming off one of his MVP seasons.
Yep.
And people were like, "What are you doing? Aaron Rodgers is crushing it. You could have got him a weapon. You could have got him protection. You could have built up the defense and you drafted a quarterback."
Yep.
And that's because they knew Aaron was this roller coaster of, am I retiring? Am I playing? Is there a darkness retreat on my calendar? Is there a trip to Egypt on my calendar? What does that look like? And so they timed it all perfectly. They were ridiculed, and they have the proof now that they actually handled it exactly right.
Well, this is what I'm thinking, and I can't prove it, just off the top of my head, but I don't know of another team that has done it quite like Green Bay, in the sense that most teams, will say, "Hey, we're going to wait until our all-star quarterback is drifting off or falling off the cliff, and then we'll draft his predecessor or the predecessor." But the
Successor.
successor, yeah. But what they are known to do with all three of these guys is let's draft them, let's let them sit for a couple years, get under the wing of the guy coming out, and then we can push him out of the nest and see him fly. And there's not a lot of organizations that do that same thing.
Agreed. I tried to rack my brain and did a little research. I didn't go crazy deep dive to find 3 quarterbacks in a row, another team that did that. And I can't find one that I think is at this level. The
No.
best I could come up with was Joe Montana to Steve Young to Jeff Garcia. Jeff Garcia had a good career. He had some really amazing games. He was the
Yeah.
quarterback, I believe, that threw the record 20 passes to T.O., like when T.O. set the record for the most catches in a game
Yeah.
at 20.
Yep.
I think that was Jeff Garcia. They were in the playoffs. They were good. But I think Jordan Love is on a whole other level. And if he
Trajectory,
reaches
yeah.
his potential, he's gonna make that an argument you can't make. The 49ers can't hold a candle to what the Packers have done over the last 33 years with quarterbacks. So
Yep. Agreed.
congratulations to all you Packer fans who never have to sit through bad quarterbacking. All other 31 teams in the last 33 years have sat through some bad quarterbacking,
Yep.
which reminds me of all 31 other teams. Scotty Jakeway, the people want to know. We have a bonus question for Did That Just Happen? Scotty Jakeway, did the fan free agent finally choose a team? Did you finally choose your new team?
Well, I will say this. Yes, and the reveal is coming on Thursday. As
Oh,
a
come on. Don't you tease the people.
As you can see, I have taken down the Brett Favre Minnesota Vikings jersey because on Thursday, the reveal will happen, and I cannot wait because I think no one is gonna see it coming. I feel like no one's gonna. We're gonna get so many comments. We're gonna get so many text messages because I don't think this is going to be one that people see. And I've done a lot of praying about it. I've done a lot of research. I feel like
Stop
in my
it.
heart of
You
hearts.
stop it right now. Okay, but hold on. Don't tease the people. Some parameters. Like, this is going to be your team. This is not going to be another Cardinals situation, right?
Correct. Not a Cardinals.
You're locking in.
I'm locking in. Here's the thing. I have said, I said I made it very clear when I left the Cowboys fandom that until Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones were gone, or but one of the other, that I could not rejoin them. And so I out of pity, out of turmoil, out of heartbreak, I joined the Cardinals, and that was a terrible mistake. After like 2.5 weeks, I realized why I've never rooted for the Cardinals for my 40 years of life. I've never done it. And I quickly realized, wow, that was a mistake. And so after much research, after much inward thought, I've landed on a team that is
And you're going to
going
make
to.
us wait till Thursday.
I'm gonna make you wait till Thursday because I had to set it up. I mean,
Wow.
I had to give a preview, so I had to take this down. I had to make you like, oh, because I guarantee someone's watching, and from the moment we started this, they go, "Hey, wait, the jersey's gone." And I feel like there's gonna be some guys, that watch us on a regular basis that thought, "Oh, here it is, here it goes." And I just had to give them just a little taste, so that way on Thursday, it's good TV, as they say. You have to give them a little something to come back for. So
Wow.
Thursday is the reveal. So tune in on Thursday, and you will find out.
I can't wait. And I would like the people to know I tried to get Scotty Jakeway to tell me who, and he refused.
Yep.
Also, his incredible son asked him just before the recording this podcast. And he told his son, I'm sorry, I can't tell you. So
Can't do
this
it.
is serious business, okay?
Serious. It's very
Shout
serious.
out to
And
Mason. Shout out to
yeah.
Mason out there breaking ankles on the flag football field for the Aces.
Oh man, he put in work. I'm very proud of him. That was a touchdown. If anyone wants to see it, it's on my Instagram. But
There we go.
okay, so as we've gone a bonus, did that just happen?
Yes.
I want to transition into a new segment I'm very excited about. A segment we have put together called I Wish You Would.
I wish you would.
I love those sound bites. So Alex Pratt, this is a fan suggested
That's
first
right.
fan suggested segment that we are putting into play. We have a couple others that we're working on that we're going to try to get featured
We're
in.
workshopping it.
We're
They're still in the
workshopping,
lab.
but this one was just an easy transition. So shout out to our viewer Keith, who said, "Hey, I think this would be a great opportunity." And man, when we heard it, we both were like, "Yes." So
Yes.
Alex
Our good
Pratt,
friend Keith,
yeah,
genius. Well played, sir.
genius. Which I love fan suggestions. So if you've got him, if you're listening, if you're watching, and you're like, "Hey, I really think I know more than Scott and Alex, and I think this would be a great segment," send it
Listen,
our way.
all the people I personally know that watch and listen, they all believe they know more than
Yeah,
Scott and Alex.
that's the best part. So anyways, let me set this up. Okay, so I
Okay.
wish you would. This is a segment where we take our strong opinions and we shout out a team, a player, something, and say, if I were you, I wish you would. And I want to lay it out there because this kind of opens up some really strong opinions. So Alex Pratt, I will give this to you. First and foremost, who are you throwing it to?
Hey, Jets, Dolphins, Saints, I wish you would just give up on the season. Just give up
Yes.
and start trading players because I love trades. I love the NFL trade deadline, and I want it to feel more like the NBA trade deadline. Seriously, the NFL is crushing the NBA in basically everything except the trade deadline.
Agree.
And we need more action at trade deadline. So the Jets, listen, I know you got your first win this weekend, but I wish you would just give up and start selling off parts because my Chiefs need Brees Hall badly. Okay. The Dolphins, I wish you would realize that Tua is not going to save your season and just give up and start trading. Listen, Bradley Chubb would look really good in a Chiefs jersey. In case you can't tell, I've been doing a lot of GM work for my team lately. And the Saints, come on, we saw you get absolutely destroyed by the Bucks this weekend,
Oh,
23-3. Just, you know, just give up on the season and create some action by creating some trades. And the Saints, who are constantly in cap problems and in cap prison. So just go ahead and start shipping off some contracts you don't need, some impact players to some playoff teams, and let's get this thing going. I wish you would just give up and start trading players.
I love it because there's nothing worse than as a fan leading up to the trade deadline. And then it's like all of these shows and these podcasts are talking down 3 more days into
Yes.
the trade deadline, 2 more days of the
Yes.
trade deadline, 3 hours until the trade deadline ends,
And
and nothing happens.
one third string quarterback changes teams.
It's exhausting. I want some just breaking news. I want Adam Schefter or Scott and Alex to break the news
That's
like
right.
groundbreaking breaking news. No one saw it coming. We need that in our lives. NFL, please do that. And why not?
Also, can we push it back? Why is
Seriously.
it happening in like week 8? It's the 17th. Let's push that back. Let's push that back. Come on, let's go like week 12. Give these teams some time to make some deals.
Well, and I think if they pushed it back, then teams could really kind of like, hey, clearly week 12,
Yeah.
at week 8, I think
We're
the problem
1
is
and
that,
11.
yeah, I think week 8 is still like everyone still got that like we could still pull it out. We could be the Ravens and pull out a string of 6 wins in a row. And most teams are not going to do that, especially the Jets and the Dolphins and the Saints. Like that's just not going to be you. You're not that guy. You're not that organization. So, but if we did it like week 12, week 13, I think that would really set up these teams that clearly aren't going to do anything this year. You might as well sell off, fire trade, give someone like the
That's
Chiefs
it.
or the Bucks or the Lions, teams that are
Not the
actually gonna make
Bills.
it.
No one should trade with the
No.
Bills.
Mm,
Just putting that out there.
I don't know if they need it right now. But, at the end of the day, there is a clear divide with some of these teams, and I am in complete agreement with you. But that leads me to mine. I wanna just jump right in. So, here it is. Hey, NFL, I wish you would stop this ridiculous cheat code called the tush push.
Oh,
It has
come on.
it has become not only unstoppable, it has become unwatchable. Since 2022, it's converted like 90% success rate. And it's not because it's a good idea. It's because it's cheating. It's because no one can stop it because everyone is offsides. Everyone is cheating. Everyone is, like it is not football. It looks more like a rugby play. It drives me nuts when everyone lines up the way they do. I mean, you've got defenses literally. I'm not even exaggerating. This is not figurative. They are literally laying down because they don't know what else to do. You've got refs that are obviously, they're admitting, hey, we're not calling offsides, which tells me they know they're offsides, that we're not calling the offsides because we can't clearly see it. It's really hard to see. That's your job. That is what you get paid for, to call offsides. And all
Get
of
some
that,
binoculars if you
all
need to see better.
we have cameras at every angle, including the pylons that can see every angle from up, down, left, right. You have cameras that are blocking field goals. You have every angle that you possibly need to be able to see this. It's not that hard. But all of that has been known for the last 3 years since the Eagles decided to start cheating. What really kills it for me and what makes me extremely passionate about this is the NFL just literally watched a perennial uh, 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 division matchup between the Eagles and the Giants. Shout out to Cam Scadaboo. Hope you come back soon. That was a brutal injury. But we literally watched the Giants defense successfully stop the tush push by creating a fumble and literally grabbing the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands with a ref literally watching it, blowing the whistle, saying, "No, forward progress was stopped." No kidding, it was. It was stopped by a fumble. And yet now we're calling plays dead because we're grabbing the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands. It's ridiculous. The NFL needs to step in. They need to finally make this illegal. I don't care what teams vote for it or don't vote for it. You're the NFL. It's like a kid telling
Ooh.
the parent what to do. The NFL needs to come out and say, we're the parent. We're going to make this illegal because it's cheating. NFL, I wish you would.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we call a classic rant, and there's not really much I even need to add to that, except that the hypocrisy of the play. I just want to share one thought. So the whole concept of the play is one player can stand behind another player on offense and shove the ball carrier forward. As a matter of fact, 2, 3, 4, they can do as many people, right? The defense is not allowed to do this. On special teams plays to block a kick or anything like that. And so I think what the hypocrisy is that they're sitting there waiting to blow the whistle dead the moment they feel like forward progress has stopped, except that you're giving the Eagles and any other team doing it the chance to just keep, okay, well, here comes another guy to push him. Oh, he's still kind of moving. He's still kind of moving. He's still kind of moving. So when someone comes in and strips the ball like they did, you're like, oh no, but he has kind of stopped. What are you talking about? No one
Exactly.
ever really knows when that play is over. You cannot watch and see a definitive moment when it's over. It's all completely murky, muddy, and like you said, it looks like a rugby play. It's a mess. It's gotta go. Roger Goodell said this week there are no plans to get rid of that play in season. So we're probably going to have to live with it for another football season, but hopefully they'll get together. And they were, I think, 2 votes short of outlawing it this year. And I think they made the argument it was a player safety issue, and they didn't have a lot of data to back that up. And this year, I think they're going to make the argument it is an officiating issue. And they
Yes.
have plenty of data. They have the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, during a broadcast pointing out, hey, you realize that's a false start, right? Their guards are jumping every single time. It's an officiating issue. And
Yep.
I think hopefully it gets fixed in the offseason. But thank you for saying everything that every football fan is thinking while watching the tush push, unless they're an Eagles fan.
Exactly. There's 31 teams that cannot stand it, and the Eagles are going, "Oh, what are you talking about?" No, it is cheating, and but what I cannot stand is just the yapping when we all know it's just literally cheating.
It's
But I
it's bad for it's bad for the sport. It
but
just
I
is. It's not enjoyable to watch.
I digress. But you know what is enjoyable to watch is the last part of our wonderful Devo, and
There it is.
that is the best part of the devotion, or I mean, the best part of the podcast, which is the devotion, which all of our long-term listeners and watchers know that Monday nights are Alex Pratt. So Alex Pratt, I've already had my rant. I don't need to go on any further. I'm going to open the floor and submit it to you to go ahead and lead us into this devotion.
Hey, I'm glad to do that. As a matter of fact, I'm really excited to share it with you because I get to talk about something that I love, and that's the NFL draft. Okay, I love the NFL draft. If I listen, the title of this devotional, just so you remember it and never ever forget it, is called Draft Bust. But I love the NFL draft. I love the NFL draft more than Travis Kelsey loves Taylor Swift. That just needs to be known. I need everyone to realize that. I'm not questioning their love, but I love the NFL draft more than Travis Kelsey loves Taylor Swift. I truly geek out about it over the draft for months before the NFL draft. I read mock draft after mock draft after mock draft, and I'm always trying to guess or speculate who my team, the Kansas City Chiefs, are going to pick. And to be honest, I'm never right, ever right. Until this year, I actually did get it right because they so badly needed a tackle that I correctly guessed that they would draft Josh Simmons, which, by the way, Brett Veach, good call. Good job there. But my love for the draft actually it goes beyond my team. I love watching any team and any draft pick. It's so fascinating to me. I think it's interesting to see how teams balance their team needs with what players are available and the whole risk reward of each player and ceiling versus floor. And I just think it's all fascinating. I would love to be an NFL GM. That I think that would be so much fun. And the trades, right? I'm just waiting. Is there a trade? Wait, is someone say Adam Schefter. So I know there's a trade coming. Someone say Shefty, and there's going to be this awesome trade. I'm just waiting for it. And I love the whole thing. I even loved like I'm it was very hard for him to watch, but the whole Shador Sanders falling in the draft, that was super interesting. Like that was crazy. It went on for days. I just can't get enough. I love the NFL draft. I have a great friend who loves college football the way I love the NFL. And he keeps up with the NFL kind of like how I keep up with college football. I know what's going on. I watch a few games, but I love the NFL. He loves college. And every year on the draft, we watch the game together, or watch the draft together. And his insights from college football and my insights from the NFL just collide, and we basically just argue all night long. And the draft is awesome. I love it. But there is one problem, and that is like there's this thing looming over every team and every GM and every draft pick, and that is the fear of selecting a bust. A player who just simply never lives up to their potential or never gives their team the value that they wanted based on where they were drafted. And listen, a lot goes into being a draft bust. It's not just the player, it's not just one thing. I mean, unless you're drafted by the Jets, but that's a different issue. There's a lot that goes into it, you know, but with every draft bust, there's this hope for redemption. Like, oh man, maybe that guy, if he gets a second chance and maybe that he can have some success, maybe he will be what we thought he was going to be. I mean, I won't get into it because you know how much much of a huge fan I am of Baker Mayfield, but guys like Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, they prove that point that what you thought was a bust just might be a redemption story. I mean, we've seen all of those guys at their worst, and yet everyone is kind of just rooting for them. Like everyone just kind of wants that comeback story to work. They want this to see these guys prevail. And actually, it made me think of someone in the Bible who at one point was considered a draft bust. And it's everybody's favorite disciple, Peter. And Peter's life is so layered and so multidimensional, and there's so much you can teach from Peter's life. And it's recorded in the Bible in a way that I think, Scott, is like it's it's like perhaps that he's actually the most relatable person in all of Scripture. His relatability, it comes from like this familiar humanity about Peter. Like we see ourselves in Peter. Like, you know, there's things about him. Like we all, just like him, we want to know Jesus on a deep and personal level. And we all want to do great things for God, like Peter wanted to do. However, it's actually Peter's mistakes that I think truly endear us to him. Some people call them Peter's failures, but Scott, I won't do that because failure feels final. But mistakes are just the soil that redemption grows in. And I know a guy who loves a redemption story. and he made Peter a first-round draft pick. That's right. Jesus picked Peter in the first round out of the Galilee Fishing University. And I have the scripture to prove it. It's in Luke chapter 5. Now, to set this up just real quickly, Jesus is preaching on the shore of the Sea of Galilee, and he's standing in Peter's boat, actually. And when he finishes, he tells Peter, hey, take that boat, push it out a little deeper in the water, and drop your nets. And Peter says, okay, but just so you know, we fished all night and we didn't catch a thing. But he agrees to do it. And this time, Peter and the boys haul in a load of fish so big, their nets are tearing, and the boat is on the verge of sinking. And that's when Peter gets drafted. Luke chapter 5, verses 8 through 11 says this. When Simon Peter realized what had happened, this is after the miraculous fish came in, he fell to his knees before Jesus and he said, "O Lord, please leave me. I'm such a sinful man." For he was awestruck by the number of fish they had caught, and as were the others with him. His partners, James and John, the sons of Zebedee, were also amazed. Jesus replied to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you'll be fishing for people." And as soon as they landed, they left everything and followed Jesus. That was it. That was Peter's draft pick. He got drafted right there, dropped everything and went with Jesus. He was no longer attending the Galilee Fishing University. He was in Jesus University now, and he was about to get the education of a lifetime. I mean, after this experience, we know, right? He becomes an all-star, a Hall of Famer, and has nothing but great triumphs. Not exactly. Peter was a roller coaster. And that's why I love him, because I see the highs in my life and the lows in his life, and I see them lining up. I mean, he had tremendous highs. He was there handing out the food when Jesus multiplied the 5 loaves and the 2 fish to feed 5,000 people. Peter was there, and he walked on water. He gets way too much heat for having sank a little bit before calling out to Jesus, because Peter walked on water, bro, okay? Nobody did it before him. Nobody did it after him. Let's just give him a little bit of credit for pulling that off, right? The faith to step out of the boat. I mean, he literally did something no one had ever done before. And he was there time and again as Jesus healed the lame, made the blind see, made the dead rise. He was a witness to the Savior of the world, the prophesied Messiah. But Peter also had some deep lows. I mean, Jesus at one point told Peter, "Get behind me, Satan." Now, free theological tip. If Jesus ever calls you Satan, you might have made a mistake there. But it's not just that. Later, Peter actually asks for a position of power to sit next to Jesus in his coming kingdom. It's like, and Jesus is like, hey, Peter, I don't even think you really understand what you asked for. Like, it's such a big deal. Like, and you can go find these accounts in the Bible. I'm super paraphrasing them, and I'm giving them a little wink and a nod. But go read those for yourself. He asks for a position of power, and Jesus is like, you don't even know what you're asking. And all of the other disciples, the Bible tells us, were indignant, which is just a fancy word for angry or annoyed. And perhaps most famously, as many believers know, Peter denied even that he knew Jesus 3 times, even after Jesus told him he was going to do it. Which leads me to my favorite chapter in the whole Bible, Scott. And I'll try to keep this short because I'm on a roll, because I love this chapter. It's John chapter 21. Full disclosure, I have taught from this chapter sermons, devotionals, lessons, all sorts of stuff many times. There's so much in it. I encourage you to read the whole thing and let the Holy Spirit speak to you. But to save time, I'm going to paraphrase. Peter, after denying that he even knows Jesus, and Jesus is crucified, resurrected, and begins appearing to people, we find ourselves in John chapter 21. And Jesus has already appeared to Mary, he's appeared to Thomas, but here we find Peter still obviously dealing with his denial, still in need of a redemption moment. Peter feels like a failure, he feels like a draft bust, and he says to the other disciples, "I'm going fishing." Which in essence is him saying, man, I'm done. I'm going back to who I used to be. I'm going back to what I used to do before following Jesus. And it's interesting. Jesus shows up. I mean, he made that statement on a symbolic level, I think, but also on a real level. He physically returns to the job that he had before he met Jesus, the one that I read to you from Luke chapter 5. And Jesus is there. And I'll tell you, again, I have to paraphrase for the sake of time, but go read it for yourself. as Jesus walks Peter through this redemption moment, he has Peter declare his love for him, his commitment to him. He renews Peter's purpose, and it's restored for Peter to be the fisher of men that Jesus told him he was supposed to be. And my favorite part in the whole chapter is verse 7, because it tells us this odd line that's sitting there that says Peter actually sees Jesus and realizes it's Jesus on the shore, and he goes to put on his tunic. He puts on a coat and then jumps in the water. And I'm like, I don't know about you, but when I go swim and I jump in the water, I don't usually put clothes on. I'm usually, kind of taking a few layers off to get in the water. And the truth is, I think what Peter was doing was the Bible tells us he had stripped for work, meaning he had taken the clothes off he needed to be a fisherman. And when he arrived on the shore, he didn't want Jesus to see him dressed as a fisherman. He wanted to wear that coat and have that tunic and have that mantle and have that thing upon him that says, Jesus, I am here to do what you called me to do and to be who you called me to be. And I want to share all of that with you so that you remember one thing that is simply true. Everybody loves a comeback story. Jesus is the source of true redemption. So I have two simple questions and then I'm done. What in your life needs redemption? I mean, perhaps you're listening and you've never asked Jesus to be your savior. You've never asked him to forgive you of your sins. You've never started that relationship with him. You can do that now. You can pray that prayer. You can ask him to be that. You can get yourself a Bible. You can have a friend pray with you. You don't have to be in church, though you should be a part of a good one. But maybe it's just there's an area of your life that needs redemption because you've told Jesus it's off limits. Like, you can have every part of my life, but this one, God. But what you really need is redemption in that area, forgiveness, freedom. You just have to invite God into it. Or maybe it's a person-to-person relationship. Maybe it's a marriage or a family. Something needs redemption. Jesus is in the business of redemption. Just invite him into the situation. May God reveal to you what you need redemption in your life. And lastly, the last question is this simple. Who in your life needs redemption? Who's that person that really needs Jesus? The one you maybe have given up praying for because it just doesn't seem to be happening. The one who maybe you stopped telling them who Jesus is and how much he loves them because they just seem like a draft bust, a lost cause, that they're maybe too far gone. But that is not the mentality of our Savior. Whoever that is, and reach out to them. May your faith for redemption be restored. May your belief for God to reach that person be reignited. May you seem to know the purpose and place that you have to speak into their life. May they understand that they are meant to be a child of God with divine purpose. And may we all see Jesus as the God of redemption. And may we always remember that everybody loves a comeback story. And like we always say, I know you say it and I say it, before we ever share any devotional or any message here on Inspired Sports, the first person that we preach it to is ourselves. So it's a reminder for me to remember the areas of my life that need redemption. It's a reminder of me to remember the people in my life that need redemption and to keep reaching out to them.
Amen.
So I hope you have a chance to do that this week. We appreciate you listening to Inspired Sports. We hope you had a great time. Come back on Thursday. Scotty Jakeway is going to declare who he is now a permanent fan of and what his new team is. We appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Inspired Sports, your place for clean sports talk with real inspiration.